Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack, and we're holding you responsible for this. Who are we? We are the VBC back together again on a Monday night. I'm the V in the VBC, Jamie the Vet Williams. That's me. Hello. With me as always, my tag team partner Brandon. As I reach through and tag the magic of the internet, Brandon coming in to clean house. Brandon, what's up, B?
Ah, man, you know what? I come in to clean house, but I got to give you your props and your flowers. When you appeared on this Raw SmackDown review and the Master Chief Theater, you definitely cleaned house.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a very much of a privilege to be able to hang out with those guys and do that stuff. And as you guys probably may have been able to tell, even there, I was still a little bit reserved and held back. You can't give them everything in one shot, but I did. Who said? Somebody said something. I think maybe it's G Ball or something in the chat said, like a couple days ago he was like, "Hey, good job listening to Ben Hameen." But anyway, speaking of the chat, here we have the C in the VBC. Who do we have with us? Do we have four horse people with us tonight so far?
Indeed, we do. We got Liz, we got Labrat, we got Javi Uchiha, we got Dan. Whoop whoop.
All right, that's definitely a Hall of Fame crew right there. But I'm sure we'll get some more as we go along. Yeah. So lots of stuff to talk about. Any news? Any hot stuff in the streets? Hot off the presses? Anything going on majorly?
I mean, it's not TNA related, but there was the that whole thing where I believe it was I don't remember the specific sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this here. That originally Meltzer had reported that uh, it was a call from WBD to pull Brody King from AEW for the F Ice chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to come out and say, no, we didn't.
Yeah, Warner Brothers said no. They debunked a report. Interesting.
And again, this is me as a so yeah, that was kind of a thing. But me as a conspiracy theorist, this is my analysis of the whole thing: was this kind of a coordinated thing to try to possibly get Brody King over?
Mm, I don't know. Um, I'm gonna say no. I don't think anything is. I don't think. I don't know, man. I just my instinct says no. I think they're just. I don't know if Brody King was actually pulled or whatever. Um,
To be
but
fair, though, that's kind of where my weird ass conspiracy minded wired brain goes. Is okay? Was this all a thing to generate publicity and help get Brody King over? However, at the same time, I gotta stop and slow myself down and think. Wait a minute, is Tony Khan and people at AEW intelligent enough and know the business enough to be able to pull that off the right way?
yeah, it's not getting him over. You don't get somebody over by taking him off of TV. It's just not. It's completely counterintuitive, and you also can't. The idea that they were afraid that people would chant something. That's not a reason not to do a show. That's not a reason to. You want to talk about letting the people dictate what you're going to do as a company. You can't do. So what if you're afraid of that? Are you afraid of everything that ever is going to happen going forward? Are you going to
They
are
yeah,
you just never going to have him on TV again because you think no, obviously there must have been some other reason why he wasn't on Dynamite. I'm glad he wasn't on Dynamite because I don't care to ever see Brody King, but whatever, that's beside the point. That's just me.
yeah, I don't know. It just smells because it's not odd at all for people who are featured on Dynamite for several weeks or even in main event, matches that they're off TV for a week. It's AEW. It's Tony Khan. It's how he books.
Yeah. For all I know, you sent Brody King to Australia early to do promotional, you know, but so I don't know, but the point is, if someone has to come out and say, okay, someone's saying we did this, somebody else is saying no, we didn't, somebody's lying. So that's just this pretty much a he said, she said situation, which is basically the summary of everything in pro wrestling, right?
Pretty much. I mean, can't really prove one way or other. It's just you got to take their word for it. The problem is both sides. You can't really trust either side.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, whatever the case, at least nobody's gonna have to worry about him being the champ because he wasn't able to pull it off. So, there you go. And if you want to hear more about Grand Slam in general, if you want to hear more about some other stuff that went on around that during the weekend, then be sure to listen to Direct Gauge, myself and Jimmy T. We talk about all of that stuff and get a full Grand Slam review. But speaking of that, actually, we could transition into just a short little note here. So some of you may have heard, and it's sort of TNA related, but you may have heard that the Inspiration signed with AEW at that, and they made their debut, surprise debut on the House Rules house show in Brisbane, Australia, with no advertisement and no warning or no coverage, no televisation. Used major surprise debut. So on the one hand, nice surprise for the people that attended, but as we discussed in the, Jimmy T and I discussed the whole situation. The house show was not necessarily the most well attended house show of all time.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a full house. No Bob Saget there. No Olsen twins. Yeah, no. Yeah.
But we did have a couple of kind of twins with the Inspiration showing up there, so they got to see, and we have some. Oh, do we ever have some details on this? Talk about Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp. Okay, so these are your premium details that you're paying for. He confirms that Lee and McKay have signed multi-year deals with the company. We don't know how many multi, but we know that's more than one. It's more than a 1-year deal.
It's between 2 and infinity, pal.
That's right. That's right. They're either there for 2 years or they're till the end of time. So that's a great piece of premium news. Also, Dave Meltzer also noted that Leah McKay were likely headed to AEW after finishing up with TNA. Yeah, likely. What if he just said definitely? That would have been funny. He could have said, yeah, I told you. But he said likely.
Yeah, he's got to play it safe in case he's wrong because plans change, pal.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sapp confirmed that it was basically a foregone conclusion that things were finalized around 1 month ago.
Okay, so if you got the deal done 1 month ago and you have a house show in Australia where you could, pop a gate by having the debuting hometown girls inspiration there. Gee, wouldn't that be a smart promotional thing to do?
You would think so. The only thing I would I would push back, well, not push back, but I would say I think the reason, and I see this with AEW a lot, and I people seem to wonder why, and I think I know the reason, but I could be wrong. This may be my conspiracy theory, but I think the reason that they don't advertise a lot of these things ahead of time is because if they advertise this and they don't do any significant business, based on the advertisement, then that's got to be a crushing ego blow to whoever the people are. It's like if you tell inspiration that, if you tell people the inspiration is going to be at a house show, you know, let's say you're trading the surprise for the promotion and the drawing power or whatever, and then they don't draw anybody, then
That's
they probably feel bad. They probably feel guilty, even though it's not really their fault. It they probably would be like, "Oh, you didn't draw anybody." So like they want to avoid doing that, kind of like the same way they would put, you know, they would put on a match. AEW would put on like a main event match with Daniel Garcia in it and just throw that in the main event, even though nobody wanted to watch that. And they'd have the real main event match around the top of you know, the second hour, because they didn't want to say, oh, well, we put you on last and, the ratings tanked, because the ratings always tank at the end of the show because people are just turning off their TVs and going to sleep after they nodded off in their chair watching the Big Bang Theory. So, you know, it's like one of those situations. They're trying to protect the ego of the stars, but even if that's not the case, yeah, I don't know. I'm just more interested in the fact that Fightful is confirming that they joined the company a month ago, or finalized the deal a month ago, even though a month ago would have been right around the time of the AMC the AMC debut, and nobody was reporting anything then.
Yeah, and that would also be a perfect opportunity for them to kind of fire a shot across the bow and get a little attention for themselves. Hey, we just picked up this former Knockouts tag team champions.
Yeah.
Just something.
So according to SAP, the contracts expired after Bound for Glory, and they've been working, without a contract. Like some people that we talked about have been working without contracts. So he also said that he was told by, quote, WWE sources that if the duo weren't involved in any plans regarding the Royal Rumble on January 31st, they would likely be on their way to AEW.
Gee, it takes a genius to figure that one out.
I just again, I think we're missing the real information here. That's what his sources are telling him. Imagine a source at WWE telling you, well, if they're not involved in the Royal Rumble, well, who would know? If your source at WWE doesn't know if they're going to be involved in the Royal Rumble,
then what do you have him a source for?
Right. Also, they ain't going to tell you. I don't care who your source is. They're not going to tell you, and you're not going to report it. So, even more of a laughable, the whole idea of these people and their what they charge you money for.
$14.99, pal.
Wow, man. Didn't we look up Fightful? I know I recently looked it up to see what it costs, but I think it was something silly. Oh, we were like, it was like, wasn't it like each Patreon post you could unlock for like $3 or something like that?
Oh yeah.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
Did we look that up?
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, this new Patreon feature was like, hey, instead of getting a subscription, you can pay per post.
Yeah. Like a tip.
Stupid.
Like a newsboy on the corner. Get your hot wrestling news here.
Yeah, but instead of for a nickel, it's $4.99. Fuck that.
Sunday edition. Yeah, so. All right, well. Anyway, enough of that newsboy. We got a sweet little update from Chris Bay, who's just had his 30th birthday. So happy birthday to Chris Bay. And we got a social media post that shows Chris Bay jumping over a box, which he put that video of himself jumping over a box In back to back with his video from last year on his 29th birthday, that's when we saw him get out of his chair and take his first steps since, so now we've gone from first steps to box jumping. And he wrote in his post, God is good. 1 year ago today, I was taking my first steps unassisted and posting to the world about my injury. The support has been overwhelming, and I can't describe how I feel other than grateful. From that moment on, I walked independently, no matter the distance, one step at a time. Thank you all for walking with me. Time to jump into the next chapter. So,
what can you say about Chris Bay other than his story and journey is so motivational, inspirational? Like, this is a dude you thought would never walk again, and here he is box jumping.
Talk about the inspiration.
Yeah, he's a real inspiration right there, and and I mean that from the heart.
I wonder if Fightful Select had reported that his sources had told him that Chris Bay was working on jumping, and he was expected to jump over to sign a multi-box, jump over a multi-box.
To be fair, I think he would find the humor in that and laugh at it.
I would hope so. Well, I haven't gotten any psychotic DMs lately, so I guess I'm not over enough, even though we know that he's gone after randoms in the past with burners and stuff. But that's all fine. Not blocked, not stalked. That's all I really have for the news. I don't have anything major. So if there are no further objections, we can move on to the review portion.
Let's get her.
All right. We're starting out our episode, our go home with the ketchup packet. Yes, it's the ketchup packet. We have to know what's been going on. And we start out with Moose. So I'm already sort of intrigued. Here comes the Moose. Moose for a promo. He says, going after the system, there's a man he knows that has the blueprint for systematically taking down the system one by one, which is Mike Santana. So here comes Mike Santana, and they're like, hey, I do know how to take apart the system, and now you and I could take down the system, but we also need some people that know how to take down a system, the Hardy Boys or something. I don't know. But he says, whatever. You try to tie it into the Hardy Boys and call it the Hardy Boys, but we don't get the Hardy Boys. We get Daria, and she says, get the hell out of my ring. Thank you.
Thank you, fuck you, bye.
Pretty much. So she's enjoying her role as the evil authority figure, but
she's the suit. Shut up, I'm talking.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So that's that. Gia Miller finds Ryan Ziegler doing Stevie Richards Fitness in the back, and he takes a long way to say he's gonna destroy Mara Sade in their street fight later. The Albuquerque street fight.
I gotta say, I popped for Ryan's t-shirt that he wore tonight.
What was his t-shirt?
It was a parody of Andy Kaufman's.
Okay. Yeah, they mentioned Andy Kaufman being his favorite wrestler or something on commentary, I think. Which could explain a lot in a good way or a bad way. Lish apologizes to Moose, and she says she might leave. And Moose is like, well, you're welcome to stay. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but, that's the gist of it. That's what we're supposed to take away from this.
Get me a love triangle between Lish, Eddie, and Moose. Ooh, what if this is Moose's path back to the title? Eddie goes over Santana. Moose goes over Eddie with Lish helping him.
I'll take it. At this point, I'll take it.
Well, I mean, she helps counter the system. Like she thinks like she works Eddie into thinking that she's gonna help him, but says she helps Moose.
No, in their mind, they're probably doing a thing where it's like she was involved all along. She's just stringing Moose along to get to. She's the they're the ride or die. She's just in there to, infiltrate Moose and mess with his head and all this stuff. And then she's gonna turn on him at the last second and say, "You want to know something? I was with the system all along."
Which is so boring and predictable.
Yep. So
Like
get ready for it.
why not have her why not do the split with her and Edwards and she goes with Moose? That'd be so much more intriguing.
It would be more intriguing, but that's why we're probably not getting it.
And plus, it's not like they have to, it has to affect their real life. They're still married in real life outside of the 2 hours every Thursday night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's just more for people that are interested in coming up with ideas. It's just more content that you can play around with for, future episodes of stuff. But I don't think they're gonna do it. What we are gonna do is Rich Swann versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yep. And first we got Hammer in the house. Whoop whoop.
That's right. Charles the Hammer's here. I wonder if he watched Swann versus Dolph Ziggler. It was this was like a match that you could have seen on an episode of Superstars 10 years ago, probably. You've probably seen this. But so this week I was not really focused on the matches. So I'm not, I'll just be upfront that I don't have any analysis for any of this as far as like the matches go. I'm so over it, especially this week. So I got nothing to say other than Dolph Ziggler wins with the Danger Zone after a long time.
Which is, you want to keep, Dolph looking strong because he's still got that collar shot. So,
Rich Swann did have a new theme, I believe, as well.
Yeah, which disappoints me. I loved that I loved that theme. That party. I'm sorry. I love that theme. It worked for him. It just made me feel like whenever Rich Swann comes out, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed the old theme, but I do like the new theme, unlike some people's new themes, which I hate.
Yeah, it's not a bad theme. It's just it's not as good as his old one. That's just the only thing it has going against it.
Well, Indy Hartwell and Zaya Brookside won't surrender this weekend because they have a shot at the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So there you go. A promo from them. Also, speaking of promos, the Righteous get their wish. They are going to be fighting side by side with the Hardys coming up here at No Surrender. So there you go. And Eric Young is in the ring. It's time for BDE's answer. Are you going to be a part of this cleanse? How tall is Hartwell? She's probably like 5'10", something like that.
5'9", close.
So it's probably actually 5'8". So yeah, Eric Young's asking BDE, and he's like, are you with me? Or are you against me? Obviously, he's not gonna join Eric Young. So he immediately gets attacked before he even gets to finish saying the word hell no. Eric Young punches him and starts beating him down, and then he goes for a pile driver, and then the refs come out and do the thing where they say, please, 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 and then he pile drives him anyway, and then he goes to pile drive him again, and then security comes out and they say, please, 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 and then he pie faces the girl ref and the terrible one. He like shoves her down, and then grabs a security guy and pile drives him while the other security guys say, "Please, please, please." Uh, yeah. So Eric Young's crazy again.
For the
Yeah, I think we've lost count. We got to. We might have to take off our pants for this one.
you're still wearing pants?
Well, metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically.
At least 11. At least 11 times. We're gonna have to. So, anyways, security's backstage, and they're kind of like fighting and pleading at the same time with Eric still. And Santino comes in to suspends him, I guess. And then Daria comes in and unsuspends him. Completely undermines his authority. Because an email from way higher up, in her words, says that he's needed for the pay-per-view. We need Eric Young for this pay-per-view. So
is it the same? Is it the same higher ups that Paul Heyman's been talking to?
Could be the same higher ups that sent Trey Miguel back here. Who knows? Yeah, but So we get that, and now we get the Albuquerque street fight with Ryan Ziegler and Mara Sade. We're just having a street fight, no big deal. Good news for me though, there's a kendo stick in this, so guess what that means? I disavowed it. This match never happened for me. You want to tell the people anything about this match, Brandon?
It happened.
True. Just completely disregarding me saying it happened. In my universe, it never happened, but in your universe, it happened. So, any other comments on it?
Well, it kind of called back to something you had said during the SmackDown and Raw review, was that you kind of keep it on in the background. You might miss some stuff while you're doing some other stuff, and then get back to it. This was kind of one of those times that night where I was kind of more interested in interacting with the chat than actually paying attention to what was going on. So that's kind of my bad.
Oops. Hope nobody wanted an in-depth breakdown of this. That's all right. I'm sure nobody did. If they did, they would have watched it. Gimmick injury report, though. We got that. Not as good as it used to be, like many things in life. Moose is cleared, after all the stuff that happened. Jeff Hardy said Jeff Hardy's still working through multiple nagging injuries, but he's cleared. And remember, people have been held out for bruising before.
Bruising week to week, an evaluation.
Yeah, but Jeff Hardy, multiple injuries. He's fine. And on his best day, he can hardly walk, but he's cleared. I want to know who these doctors are at BioFlex. BioFlex doesn't seem like a legitimate medical facility, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd be one. Yeah, get me get me Nick Shirley to investigate them for some Medicaid fraud, pal.
Yeah. So Jada Stone is out. Remember, she got beat up by Order 4 or whatever, right? Or something.
Oh yeah, like
she's out.
She gone.
Ash by Elegance is cleared. Just to make sure everybody, her career-threatening injury, they run tests on her every day like some sort of a lab chimp. Still cleared.
Yeah, I'm having it just looking at how little information was given and how quickly it turned around. Yeah, that's extremely sus to me. That is pretty sus to me. Also, especially with the timing of when that happened with when the whole stuff with the Masha went down and they had to take her off TV.
Mm-hmm. And finally, BDE, who we just saw pile driven, um, he's in evaluation. So we don't know if we can't suspend Eric Young because we need him for the pay per view, but we are still evaluating BDE, so we don't know if he'll be ready for the pay per view. It's all. It all sounds like it lines up. Um, Mance Warner and Steph DeLander introduced themselves to AMC with a promo. Thoughts?
A good waste of 30 seconds to a minute to try to introduce some characters.
All right. Elijah challenges Ali to a casket match in God's name. That's how I wrote my notes after his rambling promo. You want to talk about rambling and walking and vagabond and drifting and all this other stuff. This promo. Ariana Grace says thank you to her father for the title match, being able to get her the title match. But as she hugs him, she reaches into his pocket and steals the Cobra. I knew it. I knew something was up with her. I knew it was too good to be true.
Yeah, all of a sudden, an about face turn after turning heel. All of a sudden, gee, there can't be any nefarious stuff behind that.
Also, I find it funny to just in the context of the situation, it's like, what does she think the little Cobra sleeve actually does? Does she think that's the key to the nerve strike that he does?
And also, wouldn't Santino realize the Cobra's missing, try to figure out where it went to, and then just watch the footage and be like, my daughter tried to get one over on me?
Yeah, lots of things. But in any case. And the main event is the System versus the the guys from before. Moose, Santana, Hardys. When Daria first told him get out of the ring, I wasn't sure that the match was on, but I guess they still got their match and she just wanted them to leave. So here we are. It's your match. It's your main event. The Fat System versus these other guys who are mostly in shape. Yeah, Moose and Santana are in shape. The Hardys they're not what they once were. They're not in good shape, but they're not fat like the System. So
for how old the Hardys are and the beating that their bodies have taken, the fact they're still able to keep themselves at that shape, that's still something that deserves applause.
Yep. But after all the shenanigans and everything, Bear Bronson, I guess, is the bear that he's the one that wasn't convicted of sexual assault, right?
Yeah, he was the one who got heat by association by his tag partner.
All right, just making sure. So he apparently uses the Greetings from Asbury Park as a finisher, and he beats Jeff Hardy with that.
Can't complain. This new System, they got to be the ones to get over. Like, if you just beat him right here, then what does that do for him? It buries him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're over, but they won.
But I will say, like, having one of the younger guys in the System get a win over like a Jeff Hardy, that was, to me, I thought that was the right finish.
All right. Well, that leads us to No Surrender. No Surrender coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. And we got the Countdown show. Did you happen to catch the Countdown show?
Not a minute.
Not 1 minute of the countdown. Well, have I got a treat for you? I have got your countdown results right here. Funny enough, we got the return of TW3. However,
I read about that. I didn't see it.
Yes. However, I'm sorry to say that Two Scoops did not make his return here as the tag team partner. Instead, it was somebody named Brad Attitude. I swear I've heard that name before. Could it be possible that it's the same guy and not that two guys in wrestling have been named Brad Attitude?
It's possible, but that's not that's not a hard idea for somebody to come up with. Like I could think multiple people could think of that and think it's an original idea. That's not a hard thing to come up with.
Well, he's just some white guy. But if you were to look at TW3 and Brad Attitude and they make their entrance I'm just saying, like, let's say you bought a ticket to No Surrender and you just come sit down, take your seat. You see these guys come out. You're probably going to say, okay, these guys are about to put somebody over. You're just going to look at them and say, this feels like, yeah, Charles, you knew a Brad Attitude, so maybe it's the same guy. I don't know. But the point is, you definitely feel like somebody's coming out to go over on these guys, right? But do you know who comes out to go over on these guys?
Get me the Return to the Northern Armory, pal.
My God. Yes. If Sinner and Saint were on your bingo card, then go ahead and put a big fat X because here they are. And now they come out with their full entrance and they have a promo in the little box on the way to the ring. They do a promo. It's just as bad as you'd expect by looking at them. Then, okay, so now you're in the ring. Now that they're facing off in the ring. Now, if you are the people, let's say that had not taken your seat yet because you're still coming in, and now you taking your seat, which one of these teams do you think is going to be the one that looks like they're doing a job? It ain't TW3 and Brad Attitude. They actually look like wrestlers next to these fucking guys.
It's like, okay, these must be the jobber guys. Wait, they got the longer, better entrance. Wait, what?
Oh man. This was not a good this was not a good in terms of me and my mental health, seeing this match was not a good way to start this off. It's not a good thing for me. It's not a good thing for the Impact Attack. I'll tell you why in a minute, because this is one straw on the proverbial camel's back. But I think my back is getting ready to break here. Because I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, if you are giving, if this company, if TNA is giving, I don't care who it is, if it's Tommy Dreamer, if it's Anthem from way higher up, I don't care who's deciding that these guys need any kind of time, even if it's on a pre-show, any sort of like, any consideration. The fact that you would shoot a promo in the back with them and play it. This is what you're choosing to do. I don't know how much longer I can take this. I really don't. Like, I'm gonna quit. You're gonna make me quit. I'm just warning you guys now.
TNA should have signed Busta and the Brain instead of these guys.
Oh boy. Well, anyway, I'm not even gonna talk about the match. The next match, well, the next thing we see on the pre-show is Mike Jackson versus, or not Mike Jackson, Mike Jackson doing a promo with Gia. So Gia's actually, this is like one of her trainers, I guess. So she's like talking about that. And then Mance Warner comes in and starts, jawing with Mike Jackson about stuff. And then they end up where they're going to have a match on the show. So there you go. Talk about last minute booking. I guess they didn't have their pay-per-view card ready to go before. Even worse than live TV. Like, how do you
Yeah, we still got time for our pay-per-view just before it's about to start. We can fit you in there. Huh?
Yeah. But it's not. It's like this was on the pay-per-view. So like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Whatever. Then then this happened. Alan Angels came out, and I was like, "What?"
I thought he
And
was
then,
gone, pal.
yeah, I just he came out. He had his song and everything, and then he goes to the ring like he's gonna have a match, and then Frankie Kazarian comes out and interrupts it, and he comes down and he gets in the ring and does an impromptu King's Speech segment. Starts just talking with Alan Angels standing in the corner. So Alan Angel's just standing there while this guy does this, and then finally Frankie Kazarian, acknowledges whatever, and then Alan Angels takes the microphone away from Frankie Kazarian, and yada yada yada. Long story short, we get a match right here between Alan Angels and Frankie Kazarian. And they're really making it look like in this situation, like Alan Angels is a somebody or a baby face or whatever, despite everything that we've seen from him, which was like a year ago.
Yeah, last time we saw him, he was like this, like really cheesy, not entertaining heel that was doing this backstage interview segment, which was supposed to be was intentionally low budget and low rent, supposed to look as terrible as possible. Disappeared from TV, and all of a sudden he's back and feuding and some with the former world champion, and getting pinned by him.
Basically. Yeah, it was at this point that, to build on what I already said earlier about Sinner and Saint, I am like, I think I am officially gonna start looking for my replacement. I refuse to watch TNA anymore. I'm just letting everybody know now. I'm giving you all heads up. I can't. If you're gonna try to push Alan Angels, I quit. You did it. You finally did it. Like I will stop. It's now become a personal attack. I believe this is now I'm a target, and they're like, we can't have him telling the truth about our company. Everybody else is trying to put us over, and this guy's not. So now we're just gonna completely change. We're gonna course correct, and we're gonna do everything that's gonna make the vet quit doing TNA. This, remember, I survived. Yes, Lab Rat. I survived Wrestle House. I survived inter province pro wrestling or whatever that shit was that they used to do. I survived multiple pushes of guys like Dolph Ziggler or any of these other people I don't like. I survived the death of Moose and Joe Hendry. I survived all this stuff. But if you're gonna seriously give Alan Angels time, you might as well put them as a faction with Sinner and Saint and call them the new system. Yeah. And then the actual system is full of people I don't like, and they're fat. Like that, and they're on top right now. Like they're the top angle, basically. I mean, what else could you do to personally curate TNA into something that I find unwatchable? I don't know if you could do much worse. Like, what else could you do? What else could you do to me?
Well, hey Hammer, you looking for a weekly spot?
I like Charles, so I don't want to offer it to him because that seems like more of a punishment. But if he'd be willing, we might have to talk about it. And then we get they could turn on all the lights. Oh yeah, I'm not even mentioning that, but they're doing that. I mean, the lights are everywhere still. Like they brought those back. I survived that. Oof. So yeah, so we get a word from the power couple, which is Ariana and Stax, whatever, yada yada. Let's get to the main show. Main show, Knockouts Battle Royal, baby. That'll put some butts in the seats. Jada Stone's in the Battle Royal. More on that later. Jody Threat wins the Battle Royal. More on that later. So, any thoughts on the Battle Royal?
I will say, at least they went with a creative finish that they at least made sure to remind the viewers of, hey, Jody's not eliminated. Her feet got caught and she didn't fall all the way out. So at least they made sure to remind the viewers that she was still in play. So that way when the finish happened, it made sense.
Okay. Gia has Slater and Santana. And they do a promo. So we get to see Leon Slater for the first time in a while. You get me? And then we get a Jelly Roll sighting. And
of course, he's seated next to Carlos Silva.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, he and Carlos Jelly Roll, they just way back. Speaking of fat guys with tattoos and stuff that try to sing soulful songs, Trey Miguel is accompanied by Teddy Swims. Is everybody in music just like a fat white guy with a beard that sings soulful music? Is that
Post Malone kind of set that tone? Admittedly, he has slimmed up a bit, but he's still he was the blueprint for that.
Well, this guy is obese. Teddy Swims is obese. Jelly Roll used to be obese. I assume that's why his name is Jelly Roll. He's, used a lot of weight loss, let's say tactics since we saw him, but.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I ate Subway and also had AIDS.
Yeah. So basically, but yeah. Teddy Swims, man, they couldn't wait. The announcers were working overtime to get Teddy Swims over. I know a song of his because I've heard it before, but not by choice. Let's put it that way. So I never elected to put on a Teddy Swims song. But anyway, it's Trey Miguel versus Stax. With Ariana Grace, of course, in his corner. I don't think Teddy Swims was it actually in his corner? I forget if he cornered Trey Miguel. If he's a coach. Coach Teddy.
I don't remember. I legit do not remember.
Yeah.
I know he did not get involved in the match.
No, but Ariana Grace did because she slapped Trey Miguel. And that's probably not the first time that's happened to him, but he she got caught and then she got ejected. And then eventually, after a couple of other things, Trey Miguel hits the lightning spiral to become the new international champion.
Kind of a shock finish there. But there was one spot in there, I will say that this is my first thought seeing it was like some superplex springboard off the ropes where it's like both guys kind of like
they fell.
Realize like, oh shit, we fucked up. Okay, let's focus on survival rather than taking the bump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it almost looked like when they were doing that, it looked like Stax was trying to give Trey Miguel a lightning spiral, but they were doing it like off the second rope or the top rope and they fell.
And they realized
off the ropes and fell.
Yeah, and it looked like they realized they fucked up in the middle of it. It's like, okay, let's just make sure this is safe. And so I will give them credit for that. At least they realized they put safety first instead of the move itself. Granted, they shouldn't have been taking the move in the first place, but at least they.
Yeah, I mean, you read that. I didn't necessarily get that. I'll just hope that that's what they did and did it. To me, I think it didn't look like they were in control of shit, but I'll go with your theory that they averted disaster. The two total pros, Trey Miguel and fucking Stax. Yes.
I know it's Trey and Stax, but that was the vibe I got from watching that. It's like they realized they fucked up and they try to just at least avert crisis and then pick up from there.
Yeah, let's give them some credit. We're not going to give them credit on anything else, so might as well. But we do have a gimmick injury report here on the pay-per-view, because of course we do. Fat Eddie, apparently in that tag team match, he broke his nose. He's cleared. He's cleared, though. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about his nose. He'll be fine. We don't. You can work with a broken nose. Everybody knows that.
Just don't hit me in the face. No shots to the face. That's all. We're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, closed fist punches are illegal. So, well, what are we doing? Santana has had some back issues lately, but he's cleared. Jeff Hardy's still cleared. Jada Stone is in evaluation. You're saying, why is she in evaluation? Wasn't she in the Battle Royal? Well, apparently she was attacked by Tasha Steelz after she got eliminated in the Battle Royal. And if you probably are thinking, I missed that, you're right, because so did the fucking cameraman.
Yeah, you think that'd be an important spot in the match.
They missed it. They actually missed a few things in that Battle Royal that I'm glossing over because it's a Battle Royal and I didn't pay attention. But it's enough that I knew that they missed it because I was sitting there making my notes, doing whatever else I was doing, not watching this pay-per-view. And when I heard the gimmick injury report say that she's in evaluation, I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure she was in that Battle Royal because I heard her name in the Battle Royal. So I rewound it back to the Battle Royal and looked for the spot. And yeah, they see her laying on the ground and Tom is having to explain that Tasha Steelz took her out and they didn't see it. And then while that was going on, I heard them say like, oh, we missed it, but there was an elimination over on the other, just like, yeah. So that's how I know. I know because they're admitting their fuck ups through commentary. That's how I knew. Otherwise, I never would have been able to tell you guys this.
Which, to be fair, is more than you can say for a lot of other places that completely just no sell their fuck ups. At least they're admitting it and trying to cover it.
I don't know what's worse. So AJ Francis wants to join commentary. Maybe he could point some things out. He's definitely good at pointing things out. And here's our match with Mance Warner versus Mike Jackson. Don't worry, guys. Mike Jackson did get his walking the ropes spot in. And there's nothing like seeing a 100-year-old man like slowly walking the ropes, holding Mance Warner's hand and Mance Warner just slowly walking along with him around like four sides of the ring, just waiting for him to finally jump down with his little forearm.
Instead of being like, wait, why hold this old man's hand? Why should I not yank him down into the ring and beat the shit out of him?
Yep. Well, he didn't. Southern psychopath.
But I have respect.
Yeah, more like Southern take your grandpa for a walk.
Hang on, Granddad. Don't fall, Granddad. Don't fall.
Yeah, so anyway, he finally hits a pay window on Mike Jackson. And then afterwards, and during the whole time, AJ Francis is burying him on commentary. Like, I don't know why this isn't the Mance Warner I know. I don't know why he doesn't just finish this old man off and quit playing around and all this other stuff. So he finally beats him. And then afterwards, there's a handshake offer from Mance Warner. And then Mike Jackson, as we all are sitting there not trusting Mance Warner, Mike Jackson's the only one that trusts Mance Warner and shakes his hand, and sure enough, nothing happens. And then Steph DeLander offers a handshake. And we're all sitting there thinking, oh, here it comes. Yes, the Mike Jackson, Dan. It is that Mike Jackson. There's only one. Well, actually, there's a much more famous Mike Jackson, but he's passed away. It's not, and he's not with us. But this Mike Jackson is not. Yeah, he is not passed away. So
Dirt to beat that there, Shimona.
Yeah, him. So he now if he were moonwalking the top rope, I might be willing to forgive. I might be willing to forgive the spot a little bit. Um. So, but basically, so now Steph DeLander has offered a handshake and not turned on Mike Jackson. So AJ Francis is like disappointed, and you know, he's like he starts yapping with Mass Warner on his way out, and then he gets upset, and then he's like, "Man, I'm leaving commentary," because he was supposedly going to stay for the rest of the show, but he was too upset after arguing with Mass Warner, so he's leaving.
I guess we're going to see a Mance Warner and AJ Francis feud coming up because I guess Mance Warner is now suddenly babyface.
He's suddenly a babyface. I guess taking Grandpa for a walk brought out the softer side in him, and he saw the light.
Yeah, I think it's going to see some more of the southern part of the southern psychopath coming in.
That's right.
Like,
so yeah, you're talking about Southern hospitality.
Yeah, I'm a southern psychopath. You see, like I'll be polite. I'll take Grandpa out for a walk, but you fucking me, I'll shank you.
That's right. You have a potato chip IV pretty soon. Another bag of potato chips, Mr. Talmadge. So, all right, Stacks gets chewed out by Ariana for losing the belt. So, you know, how far we've come from, you know, him yelling at her in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, here's one thing I noticed too. Why is Santino not realizing, like, seeing the stuff with going back, seeing that footage with getting pickpocketed, watching Santino or watching Ariana cheating? Like, wait a minute, she's been working me this whole time, and we don't see any follow up to that. Yeah, like plot holes. How is Santino not seeing that?
He must be so busy he's not watching the monitors. I can only assume. Hopefully he didn't watch this too. It was Indy and Zaya versus the Elegance brand for the Knockouts Tag Team title. I ain't watching this shit, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, let's just say
you guys cleared me of Indy Hartwell duty. I don't have to watch this shit. What happened?
Elegance brand over. That's all I need to know.
Okay. Well, I know that like Ash kept Indy's feet off the ropes. Like she tried to get a foot on a rope after the finish, and Ash pushed her foot off, and the ref didn't see it, so she lost. I know that much.
Yeah, so someone to protect the baby faces at least.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep, almost like they need like a continuity director, a continuity czar.
Yeah, but none of that matters. The only thing that matters is after this match, for no apparent reason, Mickie James returns. Nashville. I guess that's the reason.
I mean, to be fair, if you're going to bring back Mickie, probably Nashville's the best place for it.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with her from here? It looks like it's going to be her and Ash.
Last rodeo? Is that?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter
not.
anymore, I guess.
Guess not.
Maybe she's gonna manage somebody. There's nowhere in the rule book that says I can't be a manager. Here's a manager's license, hardcore manager's license. I don't know, man. Who cares? Mickie James returns. Not who cares about Mickie James, but I guess who cares why Mickie James. Just accept the Mickie James.
Stipulations? What are those, pal?
Yeah. No one said Mickie James was going to be involved. Throw the stipulations out the window.
Although, to be fair, I totally forgot about that whole last rodeo until you just mentioned it. That's how memorable it was.
So memorable, you know? Last rodeo. She can't wrestle, but she can fight. Yeah. It's not headlock country. It's hardcore country. You know? So. Well, speaking of headlocks, Eric Young versus BDE. Again, I'm not paying too close attention to this. I've given up. I'm serious. When it wasn't just a bit. When I said that Alan Angels getting time, even if it's on a pre-show, broke me. Like I'm definitely serious. Like I couldn't. I just I've never been so disappointed. And I know you're thinking like, Ved, this is a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, Alan Angels has been around. It's not like you didn't know he existed or anything. It's the way, if you didn't watch that countdown show, it's the way the whole thing was presented. Like the way that they presented this thing, like this is somebody worth trying to get over, even at the expense of a Frankie Kazarian. Like this is two different stratospheres here. So that's kind of what it is. That's what the problem is. You'd have to see it. You can't just hear me explain it. I can't do it justice. I can't do it hardcore justice. I can't do I just, but it really did affect the rest of my viewing of the show. I was just basically like, who cares? Who cares about this? Seriously, who cares? And I even took offense to the Observer readers voting WWE worst promotion, because I'm like, have you guys seen TNA? You guys are just being dicks now. You're not even being realistic. You know, if you want to say Mystico's your best wrestler of the year, fine, whatever. But you really think that TNA is in any form or fashion better than any WWE show? And you did not watch No Surrender. Well, obviously because it hadn't happened yet. But but oh man, they're gonna get it for 2026 if anybody knows anything.
Well, as far as this match goes, I will say this had to have been BDE, in my opinion, BDE's best match I've seen him in. Of course, a lot of that was probably because of Eric Young carrying him.
So of the 3 matches, this is the best one.
I think they said he had like 20, like this was his 26th match on air,
Well,
on the commentary.
we didn't see those. I can only go by what we saw. I'm sure you didn't see the other 23 either.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. How did they feel about it? They probably voted him most underrated that year, I bet. All right. Well, anyway, pile driver to BDE. So Jody Threat was confronted by Tessa Blanchard, and I guess they're going to have a match on Thursday. Then we get the Knockouts title match with Ariana Grace versus Lei Ying Lee. And mid-match, Danny Luna returns with music, but security pushes her to the back. Now remember, this is the same security that she beat up single-handedly the last time she was here, but now they're able, I guess they've learned her moves, and I think they just had like the sumo championships over in Japan, so maybe everybody was watching that and learning some moves, to try to corral Danny Luna back to the back. That's my only thought. I don't know, maybe something like that. But anyway, she gets escorted out, and then Ariana Grace uses the stolen Cobra and then hits her little move, which is like a TKO where the the face lands on the knee, and she beats Lei Ying Lee and is the new Knockouts champion.
I mean, it was what it was. I thought it was an all right match, but what was the point of having Danny Luna come out if she didn't affect the outcome at all? Like if anything,
mind games. I
don't know. Would it have made more of an impact if she would have been a surprise entrant in the women's battle royal?
Maybe. She probably just got off the plane and just made it to the building, like just right before she ran out there. So that's probably, she didn't have time to make the battle royal.
Bioflex injury report, pal.
Yeah, we'll have to check with that. Anyways, so BDE accepts a tutorial lesson from Rich Swann. So they're gonna play some PlayStation, and yeah. So Order 4 versus the Righteous and the Hardys. Holy shit, I ain't watching this. You could not pay me to watch this. Even though you kind of are paying me to watch this, I'm still not watching it. Fuck that. Uh any notes on this one? No?
I mean, the only thing that really came out of this was it looks like we're going to go back to Hardy's and Righteous because it was Tasha Steelz throwing powder in the eyes of Vincent, and he thought that Matt was somebody else, hit him with a black hole slam, which had led to the finish with the Order 4 going over.
Again, if you just watch the footage, everything will become clear. But yeah. So Ali wins with a 450 splash. There you go. There's your finish. And then Elijah comes out and he's got a delivery service and they're carrying a guitar shaped casket.
I want to know what kind of delivery of the service that is that creates like custom shaped caskets that they can just bring to you whenever you want them to.
Yeah, of all the advertisements that TNA is trying to plaster all over the place, you would think that would be a good one because it's so unique and they're up and coming. Yeah, so I see them fighting around this guitar shaped casket and stuff, and listening to the announcers. Like again, the announcers this whole night. I'm sorry. Let me just back up a second and talk about Tom and Matthew. Okay, I don't know these guys personally or anything, but they are absolutely horrible. Like everything they do sounds fake and phony. Like obviously nobody could care about this, so I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not selling this stuff like the only way they know how, which is like way over the top. Like but the contrast of hearing Tom Hannafin yelling at the top of his lungs while seeing this like cartoonish guitar shaped giant coffin and these two guys are like fighting. This is worse than like 30 some years ago when the Undertaker was bringing out giant caskets and stuff, because at least those weren't like goofy shapes. And at least he was an Undertaker. What the fuck does a casket have to do with Elijah?
Yeah, so this is almost like if Jeff Jarrett and Undertaker had a casket match. And Jeff Jarrett trying to get Undertaker's head.
Right. And with a guy with an opponent as tough as the Undertaker, you're gonna be joking around with a guitar shape. Like this is so phony wrestling bullshit this is the kind of stuff like when people talk about like we need to evolve, like it's not like evolve into doing more flips. This is the kind of stuff we need to evolve from. Doing this like ridiculous cartoon bullshit that makes no sense. Like this whole scene here, just watching them do this, because I had to like look over at this point. I'm like, what is going on here? Elijah, what are you doing? And who are these people? And why are they carrying this thing out? And why is it shaped like a guitar? Like this whole thing just turned into it snowballed into this, you know, a stupor of confusion that I'm sitting there watching this like, and then my mind flashes back to earlier in the night with Sinner and Saint and Alan Angels, and I'm like, you're trying to force me off the Impact Attack. This is what you're doing. You don't want me to watch this show anymore, and you're making these decisions at the expense of your company just to spite me personally. I don't think that's good. That's a good business decision. I was dumbfounded. I really couldn't believe it. It was surreal. I was like, am I really? Am I actually still asleep dreaming this? Did I not wake up to watch this show for the Impact Attack tonight? But no, I think this really happened, didn't it?
All I know is after this, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe for when I pass away so we can build a custom guitar shaped coffin for me, pal. Whoop, whoop.
That's interesting. What if you could have any shaped coffin, what do you think a Brandon coffin would be the iconic what would be the iconic shape?
Hmm.
That if your grave is ever dug up by grave robbers, you would want them to know, like they'd be like, oh, this is the kind of guy he was.
There's an answer I want to give, but I'm afraid it might be sacrilege.
Okay. Well, you don't have to give it.
Yeah, my intention is to represent and honor, not step on and insult or try to put myself in the place of. I'm more honoring the person who I'm in this,
I see. Well, I was thinking more like a fun answer, like I could see your Homer Simpson case in the back. Like you could have a giant Homer Simpson head coffin or something, who knows? Inanimate carbon rod coffin. You just get buried in a giant green cylinder. That'd be good. Something like that.
no, the cabin, the cabin of a monorail train with an opossum guarding me.
Yes.
I call the big one Bitey.
Yeah, big. Oh man. All right. So Santino is looking for his daughter, and he finds Daria instead. And he also gets threatened a bunch. She reminds him that she's a former MMA fighter.
Oh boy, do they just kind of give it away right there? Are we going to see Santino and Daria in an MMA fight?
Probably. I mean, we saw an Albuquerque street fight, so why not?
That is true.
Look forward to that, and look forward to your main event. It's Fat Eddie and Dolph Ziggler for some reason versus Mike Santana and Leon Slater for some reason.
Well, it was what it was.
It sure was. Burt Macklin attacked again.
So I guess that pink slip doesn't mean shit.
Well, they kept saying he doesn't work here. He doesn't even work here. Again, the terrible commentary. The rest of the system comes out to attack also. Remember, mind you, this is just a random tag team match. This is just a random house show tag team match. Doesn't mean shit. System comes out to attack. Moose comes out to attack the system. And then Leon Slater hits the Swan 450 on Dolph for the win. And that's the end of the show. They did the commentary was trying to tease that maybe Dolph was thinking about cashing in that trophy at any moment if there was an opportune moment. And he didn't. And obviously they have no idea how to get in and out of, if he was going to cash, like the last time he threatened to cash in, he just got his finisher no-sold and then and beaten up. So clearly ineffective. I don't know what would be a good time to cash in if he couldn't even do it then.
Yeah, that time would have been terrible because the babyface also had backup that would help that would help him out.
Right. So yeah, so there you go. That was it was a strange main event. They got a lot of people involved, but this wasn't even like a real pay-per-view. It's like one of those like in between pay-per-view things. So, but we did see some title changes. We saw Trey Miguel become the international champion. We saw Ariana Grace become the Knockouts champion. So it's not like it was uneventful in terms of like just title switches, but I mean, the international championship is not. If you try to tell somebody there's a new international champion at TNA, they're gonna be like, "What's that?"
Huh?
Yeah.
So
I'd rather have an international House of Pancakes champion. Because then at least we get a nice round. We could get a nice round faceplate for the title. But
with a like a nice square of butter on it with some syrup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. TNA, folks. I might be dead. They might have killed me.
And in fact, it might not even be a real vet. He might have been bitten by the outbreak, and all of a sudden he's here with us again.
That's right. If I show up shambling and rotting next week, you'll know. I'm headed to JCW. Let's make it a trios. Do we need trios titles at JCW? I can shamble. All right.
That'd be a funny rib, though. I could see them introducing a trio title as a rib of too many belts in wrestling.
All right. Well, that's up to Mr. J. He wants to do that. It's his call. And it's our call to take it home. I mean, we did a pay-per-view review in record time, and all I had to do was think this was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Who knew? But yeah. What do we got going on for the rest of the week?
Let's see. Tomorrow we have the late start NXT watch along that goes on the air as soon as A show, as well as RBV. Please forgive me, I forgot the name of yours and Jargo's show. It's coming back tomorrow night. Hitting the marks tomorrow night. You go live after that and the A show, and then Wednesday we got the AEW Dynamite watch along at Bell Count. Thursday we got the JCW Lunacy watch along, TNA Impact watch along. Friday, the SmackDown watch along in Bell Count. Saturday, we got HMG Insanity, which is our new Lunacy review show. And then Sunday, we have HMG After Dark. Not quite sure what we're doing that night. Silence of the Lambs is at the top of the list right now for that. Not sure what else we'll do after that, or if we do anything else beyond that. But yeah, Silence of the Lambs for sure for that. And then, of course, once we go off the air here, we got the Raw watch along continuation. And then once that's over, we're going to do a shorty stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/LGBrandon whoop whoop. Or you can catch me most nights of the week once I'm done over here on HMG. Of course, you always catch me on Twitter, or as the kids call it these days, the X at LGBrandon whoop.
All right. Silence of the Lambs, another one of those ones that you've never seen before?
Yeah, and I got the riot act read to me by Liz, and yep.
Well, it's one of those ones that's so ingrained in the pop culture that you probably already know a lot of the stuff from it.
I know, like, I get the references, like, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah.
I'd fuck me so hard.
Yeah, you got that from Kevin Smith. Yeah.
Goodbye, horses.
Yeah, that one. And a bunch of other stuff you'll see. You'll be like, oh yeah, that. So
I was like that. I was like that with Jaws too. Like there was a lot of stuff that Quince was saying. I was like, wait a minute. I've heard Charlie Kelly parody this, and It's Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm. And also Kevin Smith. He does a lot of that.
Jaws. Well, the characters of Brody Bruce and T.S. Quint from Mallrats are named directly after the characters from Jaws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jaws is amazing. Especially when you consider how silly it is. Like if you try to explain the premise, it just sounds like the dumbest thing you've ever heard.
But it's like, just watch. It's like you have to watch it. It's like they pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. Jaws is the prototype for what you would refer to as a summer blockbuster. They didn't really do movies like that, and then that became a thing where, you had to have a big movie. Because the next year I think was Star Wars, right?
2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years. Okay, so
also John Williams composing. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's the greatest of all time. I mean, there's no debating that. And John Williams is still with us, so
God bless him.
Let's appreciate the John Williams while we have him.
Yes,
Um,
thank you God for giving us to him for as long as you have, or giving him to us. I'm sorry.
yeah. So anyways, um, as for me, you can find me at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms. I have seen all the movies that Brandon hasn't seen, so it's okay. Um, but you're welcome to chat about whatever else. You can catch me every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez, where we talk about NXT. You can catch me every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Direct Kids with Jimmy T and Professor Chabela Vera Cruz, where we talk about AEW. You could check out Wrestling with Rogers every week. You could check out the Stevie Richards Show every week. You could check out Timmy Baltimore's Limpin' Ain't Easy every week. Those are all things that you should check out for free on YouTube. There's no reason not to. Even if you don't want to check it out, maybe you could just go subscribe. That would help. And you could if you missed me on last week's Raw SmackDown review on the brand, you could go check that out. Master Shoot Theater, check that out. If you well, it's very happy to be able to fill in over there. I think everything will be back to normal this week at least. At least Stevie will probably be back, I think, unless I get a mystery message at some point in the next few hours. But other than that, I think that's everything. So, as always, take care of yourselves and be safe out there. And for Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign-off line.